Hey guys, so today I want to do a book review. A friend of mine who is a mom of many recommended it to me. She specifically is in a similar situation that I'm in. She has 6 kids and 4 of those 6 are boys. And so often when moms of boys get together, we like to share ideas, specifically how to survive boys and how to make sure they survive boys. And then as women, we have a lot of questions because we don't necessarily understand the mind of boys. So when she recommended this book, it was I took it from a true source, and I will tell you, it has not let me down. The book is called Wild Things: The Art of Nurturing Boys, and it's by Stephen James and David Thomas. And I adore this, and you can kind of tell it's been well loved this summer already. I have things marked in it. It's gotten to the point where as I mark the things in it that I like, every single page has stuff written in it. So that's always a good sign of a book to me if it is well loved. I know it is on ebook. I'm kind of old school when it comes to books, that I do have ebooks and Audible books, but man, there's nothing that can be beat by, you know, a hardback book that you can write in. Anyway, so this book, basically the premise of the book is one of, they're both psychologists, and they're just talking about their experience with boys. They're also both fathers of sons, which is even more, you know, credibility. And so the way that it's broken down is by the age groups. And so the very first part of the book, it just talks about what is a boy. And so they break them down into the explorer, which is a 2 to 4 year old, the lover, which is a 5 to 8 year old, the individual, which is a 9 to 12 year old, the wanderer, which is a 13 to 17 year old, and the warrior, which is an 18 to 22 year old. And in those categories, each chapter talks to you specifically about the characteristics that are unique to that age group. They also kind of come at it as from a scientific point of view to tell you physically what's happening in the body of a boy at those ages and how that affects their minds and the way they're thinking, and the way they're going to respond to things. And I'll just tell you, some of them were so spot on that I just had to laugh, because I can remember Taylor, who I guess technically now he is a warrior, a wanderer. I remember when he was the lover and doing those things, and when he was an explorer and doing these things. And so it was neat to see that. I have sons right now in all but the last age. So I have an explorer, I have a lover, I have an individual, and I have a wanderer. I don't have a warrior yet, but it's coming. And so I read through these and thought about each one of my sons that's in this phase and how that he is showing these characteristics. So once they tell you kind of what's happening and kind of let you into the mind, they give you suggestions and examples of how to communicate with your child, with your son, in a meaningful way, and what not to do and some things to avoid that kind of hurt your relationship. And so that was extraordinarily helpful to me as the book went on. I will tell you one funny story. So I was reading it. This was one of the books I took with us on vacation. And so I'm sitting outside reading the book, and I'm looking down to the river, and there's some teenagers that I didn't know, but some boys that, you know, were that 13 to 14 year old age. And I had known from my sons that they were a little bit of troublemakers at the resort, that they had taken a canoe out and their entire purpose with the canoe was to sink it. That was like their goal. And so they met their goal, and the owner of the resort came out and told them, do not do that again. And so then, a couple of hours later, my son is sitting by reading a book nearby, or fishing, I think. Actually, I don't think he was reading a book. And these 2 boys were again talking on the dock, and one of the boys was telling the other one, hey, let's go try to sink the canoe again. And the other boy was like, no, we got in trouble. I don't want to do that again. And the kid was like, who cares if we got in trouble? I don't care what these people say. I can do what I want. Well, about that time, the owner, who had spoken to them again, turned the corner and said, you're gonna do what now? And so she, chastised them again, and my son was like, it's funny, that happened, that they got caught. Well, because they are this particular age group, because they are the individuals, they waited, and the lady walked away and forgot about them, and apparently the one that was pushing to take the canoe out won. And so they took the canoe out, and I'm watching from my chair with my book these 2 boys that I know what's been going on with them, and I'm watching them once again try to sink this canoe in the middle of the lake, and I can see one of the boys is trying to dissuade his other friend from doing it, and the other friend is just bound and determined to do it. And they do. And I watch it sink, and I watch both of them try to figure out what they're gonna do about it. When once it sinks, it doesn't just like kind of tip over like last time so they can put it back up. It's going completely underwater. Like they are about to lose this canoe. And you can kind of see, even from so far away, the panic that is ensuing as they realize like this is a bad deal. Like you're really gonna be in trouble. And so they kind of motion to some of their friends that were in a canoe nearby, and they paddle over. And I watch these 4 boys that are about this 13 to 14 age group talk through and problem solve and how we're gonna do this, and that's a bad idea, and you're dumb, no, you're dumb. And then in the end, they all kind of work together to turn the canoe back over, empty it with water, and put it up on the edge of the dock. And you could watch these guys do almost exactly, respond exactly like this book has talked about how they would respond to the situation, that they had to break it, and then they had to come up with a way to fix it. And then at the end of that, they wouldn't look at it and say, man, that was dumb of us. They looked at it to say, look at us, we're amazing, we solved a problem. Ignoring the fact that they made the problem that they needed to solve. Anyway, it was a really cool moment to get to actually see what the book was saying in practice in front of my eyes. So it really had some pretty good credibility to me at that point. So anyway, if you have sons of any age, literally from 1 year old and to 22, I strongly recommend Wild Things. They're funny, the stories are very applicable, it's a very easy read. Like I said, get a marker because you're gonna mark every single page of the book with good stuff in it. If you get it on Kindle, make sure you can highlight the spots that you want to highlight so you can go back to them. And anyway, I highly recommend it to anybody and everybody. Leave your comments on other books that you're reading this summer and things you would recommend to moms of boys and girls of all ages. I hope you guys are having a great day.